Blessings. Ooh, I am excited to be at Leaders Living Generously Summit. I want to thank Dr. Prophet, Pastor Dr. Anthony Shannon and his team for this platform, and also to bless all the speakers that will be talking for the next couple of days. But before I get started, if I may, I want to share with you a little bit about how I grew up. So it'll explain the topic, and I'll take you for a little ride. So my sister and I, we grew up in the Bronx, New York. My parents, we used to have dinner at 6 o'clock. My mother and father would call us upstairs. Dawn and Beth, come upstairs. Time to eat dinner. But before we went back outside, my mother didn't play. This was summertime. School was over. 5 vocabulary words, 5 spelling words, and we had to read a couple of pages in the book and poetry. I loved poetry. So I'm going to start with one of my favorite poems. Just the first 3 lines. All 3 lines are powerful, but the third line will sum up what I'm going to talk about today. And it goes, our deepest fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. I'm going to say that again. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. I don't know about you, but at times I have hid my light so that others don't feel uncomfortable. And I've also hid my light so that I don't feel uncomfortable. We've all had these times. It's okay. But there was one time, and I remember it so clearly as if it happened yesterday. I had joined this church in New Jersey, and they had a small choir, but it had a powerful alto section. And so I joined the choir. I was excited because I love to sing. So I was in the back, and the choir director came in, and, he's warming up, and he's playing Silver and Gold. So I happened to know the song. I love the song. So I'm humming it in the background. Humming. And so he goes, Dawn. I go, yeah, Ralph. Was you humming Silver and Gold? I said, I'm sorry, what did you say? I heard him. He says, are you humming Silver and Gold? And I go, yeah. So you know what happened after that, right? I stopped humming. Singing it in my head. So he's continuing to play. And he goes, Dawn. What's up, Ralph? Are you singing the song in your head? So I'm saying, I'm sorry, what did you say, Ralph? He said, Dawn, you heard me. Stop playing with me. Okay, choir. Tomorrow, Dawn is singing Silver and Gold. I said, no, I am not. He stopped playing. He says, you mean to tell me that your God gave you a light to sing and you're not going to sing to him, Dawn? I was like, wow, convicted. I said, sure, whatever you want to do, Ralph. Went home with an attitude. How dare he call me out about singing this song? And so when I got myself together, I said, you are wrong, Dawn. Okay, you're wrong. You know you like to sing, Dawn. He just saw some of your light. So the next day I sang the song. I just closed my eyes to sing to God. And let me tell you all something. I've been singing the song ever since. But what else happened was I also direct the choir now. And I love that. So not only do I get to direct the choir, sing altos, I get to sing and direct. Not only did he poke the hole, he cracked the egg, opened it up, fried it, and now I do both. The light. Lead with your light. Like all of us here are doing today, leading with our light. Our God did not call us to shrink. He called us to shine. Lead with love. That's what that choir director did. He led with love. He wasn't trying to hurt me. He just saw something in me, which I didn't see in myself. Or I did, honestly, but I was hiding. Believe when we don't see the evidence of anything changing. Build when others want to tear it down. Forgive and forget. A lot of times we say, I forgive, but I ain't forgetting. We have to do both. That's the mindset. And teach when the lesson comes from our own pain. This is how we lead with the light. We embody the heart of a kingdom builder. What does it say in Matthew 5:14? We are the light of the world. It's like a city. I love this part. It's like a city, and I can see it on a hilltop that cannot be hidden. I can almost see that. We don't light a candle or a lamp and put it underneath the desk or in the closet. No, it goes on a nightstand or it goes on a stand so it can illuminate the room. What are we doing? We are the reflection of God's excellence. That's what we're doing. Every word, every action, every decision is like a building blocks. And it builds higher than ourselves. Kingdom builders, the mindset of a kingdom builder. Motivation isn't ego, it's purpose. We have an assignment out here. And this light is going to lead us to where we need to go. Everyone here is leading with their light. Leading with your light says you have the integrity, you have the vision, and we have the preparation. Remember the 10 virgins, right? 10. It was all waiting. 5 had extra oil. The other 5 ran out, had to go to the store, parable. Come back, door was closed. What happened? They had no oil and their lights was out. They missed their opportunity. Preparation. So, if I may, I want to share a little bit about how I love this. Lead with your light, the mindset of a kingdom builder. This is a time when I went through this. And so this was about 7 years ago. I was unemployed and I prayed to God for a particular job. I really did. And I want you to remember this because it will tie in. I prayed for a job, not too far from home, certain amount of money, close to my son. Great team. Just asking a lot when it comes to a great team. But anyway, I get the job. The CEO would come in and look at the desk and look at me and say, Dawn, one day the light is going to go off. First time she said that, I said, what is she talking about? The light is going to go off. Next day she came in, good morning. What's going on, Christine? The light's going to go off. That went on for about a month. A month. The light went off. It exploded. I got it. Not only did I know my job as the CFO, as at my company, we had 2 other companies. I got the light on them too. Now, across the hall from me was my fiscal department. That office, you can walk in there, the tension, the trust, and there was some racial discord. I felt it. I felt it so bad. I never used to like to go in that office. I'll be honest, I did not. And a lot of times I did not go. They would come in there and beg me to come into the office. I would go into that office at 3:55 when they was ready to go. Okay, ladies, good night. Horrible. Horrible doing. I said, God, I need to change. I got to do better. But the person that was causing the discord, we were bumping heads. I don't know if it was because she wanted the job, probably did. So I said, okay, she's good at what she does. And I recognize that. Excellent at her skills. Okay, let's see if we can work together. So I call her into my office. She comes in. I says, listen, let's start all over again. I want this office to be an office where we can all grow together. You know, I can manage things. I'm really, really good at what I do. So I extended my hand. And she pushed my hand away. In the beginning, I told you all I grew up in the Bronx, the projects that came out. I kid you not. When she did that, my hand at the side was in a fist. Now, during this time when I was unemployed, I worked out. I boxed. I could see in my mind a right and an uppercut. I saw it. I saw it. But I also saw my son. And I said, Dawn, you won't be here. And I'm a single mom. God wasn't going to let me do that. I'm not a fighter. But it was I saw it. I saw it. I said, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do this another day, but not today. She walked away. I went to close my door. And I was like, oh my God. I had to cry because it was at that point. I said, God, we need to do something, God, because you know I can get another job. But I asked for this. I asked for this. So I said, oh no, Dawn. Dawn. Lead with your light, Dawn. You got it. What happened? The board decided to hire a chief operating officer. So I had a big office like the CEO. So they said, Dawn, very nicely, Dawn, the CEO is coming. We can't give it I said, I get it. I'm not title crazy. I'm good. Y'all paying me well. At the end of the year, they said, Dawn, we're going to take care of you. No problem. You have a choice of two offices. You can go to office with your fiscal department, or you can have an office over there. So I said, what are you doing with her? They said, we're taking her, we're putting over there. I'll take that office. The CEO and the COO went in to announce to the staff that I would be coming over there to that office. You know what they did? That same day, right after lunch, they came in my office and they said, are you going to take this whiteboard with you? I said, yeah, I was thinking about it. They took it off the wall. And I said, what are y'all doing? They said, we're moving you in so that you can be ready in the morning. I was like, wow. Okay, God. Okay, I see you. This is what I got to do. So went home, prayed. I knew what I had to do in the morning. I said, Dawn, how are you going to shift the atmosphere of this room, Dawn? You have to lead with your light, Dawn. You got to lead with love. You got to believe that you can do it. You got to talk to them from a place that embodies the heart of a kingdom builder, the mindset. So I got there early in the morning, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. I brought my holy oil with me, and I put some oil on the front door, my door, and there was a hallway to where they came. The whiteboard was up on the board. So I put a good morning with a smiley face and my mother's affirmation. Never say can't, always say can. I sat at my desk, eating my breakfast, drinking my tea, and watching them as they came in, read the board, smiled, and sat down. So by the afternoon, I went back to them and we were sitting around talking and everything. And I said, can I ask y'all something? They said, yeah. What did you think about the board? They all looked at each other. What does it mean, Dawn? I said, well, and I told them what the story meant to my mom of never saying can, always say can. So I said, I challenge us. I don't want anybody in here to use the word can't. Can't is a word that closes the doors on your opportunities and what you want to do in life. Can't says you don't believe what God is telling you can come to fruition. And I said, I didn't know if all of you believed in God, but I'm just telling you what it means to me. So the next morning, I got in at 7:30, 7:35. The staff was in the office. I'm going to tell you something. They used to stay downstairs and clock in and wait till 9:01 to come upstairs. Now, so the rest of the staff downstairs was saying, why all of a sudden are y'all going upstairs? We're going upstairs to see what Dawn has on the board. So they would come up and I'd have something different on the board. What was I doing? Shifting the atmosphere. These women told me they hated to come to work. Hated it. You know what it's like to sit on a job for 8 hours and hate being there? So I knew in order for me to be able to embrace this department, in order for me to change the atmosphere, in order for me to shift things so that they can come to a place where it's peaceful and they can have a decent state of mind, I didn't want to manage them. I wanted to inspire them with the light. It changed, it shifted. I mentioned in the beginning that I prayed for a job. I had scripture in my office. I would not put it on the board, but on the back of my door, I had no weapon formed against me shall prosper. The young lady who did payroll happened to be a Christian woman. She came to my office. She wanted to talk to me one day, and she says, Dawn. I said, absolutely. She closed the door, and she says, oh, my God, Dawn, I prayed for you. I said, you prayed for me? She said, I prayed for a woman to come in here who would light up this place. Wow. Let me tell you something. When you have the mindset of a kingdom builder, darkness doesn't have a chance against you. You walk in there, I know we all heard this before, like God himself sent you there, and he did. She prayed and I prayed. That's why I mentioned that. I didn't know she prayed until that day she came in there. She said, Dawn, when they come in, they stay right at your door. I didn't realize. I just say, why they don't go in? Because I had that on the back of my door and scripture all in my office. Darkness doesn't stand a chance when your light comes in there. So if I may, I want to share the 5 strategies that actually help me. It can help with your leadership. It can help with your business, your ministry, your day-to-day. Teach your children. The first thing I did when I walked in there was that I led with love. Love disarms fear, and it transformed the room. Love. God is love. The second thing, guard your tongue and the tone. I didn't walk in that office, I'm the new sheriff in town, I'm CFO now. No. I walked in, I said good morning, I would have breakfast with them, I would ask them how their day, the weekend, what are you doing tonight, what's for dinner? I started getting invited to this one's baby shower, this one's getting married, you know how you do in the office, but it was different. Other employees were coming upstairs and reading the board. What was happening? Number 3, cultivating an atmosphere that is inviting, peaceful. It shifted. Even the employees that worked, because it was a home health care agency, came in and saw, they would come in the office, talk, sit, started bringing cakes. My CEO came in. She says, Dawn, what's going on? She said, I knew I hired the right woman. I said, just shifting the atmosphere. The 4th one, I talked about preparation. Remember the 10 virgins? 5 had extra oil, the other ones didn't. Come prepared. At night, I would sit and say, what can I do to stimulate the office? That was it. Number 5 is to keep shining your light. Remember, darkness has no chance against the mindset of a kingdom builder because we lead with our light. And just like I said in the beginning, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So I want to tell you this. When you walk into a room, you walk like you own it. But remember, darkness doesn't stand a chance against the mindset of a kingdom builder that walks in with their light. God bless you. Dawn Cecile Benjamin, lead with your light, the mindset of a kingdom builder. Thank you.